Monday night on both sides of the ball on defense, they couldn't stop the Niners' run game, allowing 275 yards on the ground. They keep going, and going. Meanwhile, Baker Mayfield, he struggled again, completed just 8 of 22 passes for 100 yards, picked off twice, finished the game QBR 4.2. He didn't get much help from his offensive line either. Mayfield was sacked 4 times in the loss. He's been sacked 16 times this season. Freddie Kitchens said Tuesday it's not all about the quarterback.
You know, I think there's a lot that goes into that whenever you start talking about that, and some of it had to do with lack of protection. Some of it had to do with, a couple of bad throws, a couple of bad decisions. Overall, had some drops. You can't do those things and play the quarterback position at an elite level. If we just want the honest answer, you've got to have consistency around you. You have to be consistent yourself. None of that happened last night.
Well, the only thing consistent for the Browns is their upcoming schedule. It is tough. Over the next 3 games, the Browns, according to FPI, will be underdogs against the Seahawks, the Patriots, and the Broncos.
That's weird.
Yeah, very weird, maybe because they're traveling, but wow. While slight favorites against the surging Bills and division rivals Steelers. Let's go back to Kitchen's sound. He sounds really sad. Like right? Like he sounds really, that's the one thing you can come across a certain way, right?
Straight up though, do you think losing and living in Cleveland is something you'd be happy about?
Piling on.
Listen, I'm a Pittsburgh guy.
I was going to say.
I'm a Pittsburgh guy. That's how I feel about
Hit
the
them when
place.
they're down right now.
Yeah, like if you there, you got to win.
He does though. He sounds really beaten up already.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long road for this team. They were in the Ryan's right about Cleveland being a place that's not used to that spotlight. It's not a high profile town, and this team has not been high profile. But since they got OBJ and since we started to believe in Baker, they've been under a lot of stress, and it is wearing on him. It seems very clear it's wearing on him. But there's so many problems with this team. I think they're going to be up and down throughout the course of the season. Yeah. And I said this early before the season started because I don't believe in Freddie Kitchens, frankly. I think they're talented enough to give you big splash wins like the Ravens, that win against the Ravens. But when you have a rookie coach like Freddie Kitchens, you can't expect them, and a guy who went from being a running backs coach to offensive coordinator to head coach all in less than a year. You can't expect them to be consistent like this.
In defense of Freddie and the way he sounds, he had just flown back across the country. And
maybe a little tired.
When I have a cross-country flight, I don't sound very good on the phone the next morning, and I never lose a game.
Well, the point is that they have a ton of juice, right?
Add
a ton of juice and all season, and now sad.
That word consistency he uses, that's what they're preaching in that building right now. Look, it's been a roller coaster. It's up, it's down. We have to find who we are and stay there for a little while. Now, you have a young quarterback who's in his 2nd season. You have an inexperienced head coach. There's a lot of factors here that could lead to inconsistency, and I think that's what we're seeing. They have to get it together. I mean, the expectations were very high. The division is there. I mean, the Steelers are 1-4. The Ravens are 3-2. I mean, obviously there's a chance, but they need to string some good performances.
You said the main thing, though. Expectations are the largest creator of disappointment. It's easy when you go 7-8-1 to have everyone excited about you because you were 0-16 the year before, but then you bring these other people and you have OBJ and you already had Jarvis Landry. Nick Chubb is the stud and you're expected to win. Expectations isn't something that this team has had. So you absolutely are sad because you started it here and every week you get knocked down a rung. And so when you listen to Baker Mayfield talk, Freddie Kitchens talk, all of these guys are sad. Yeah. All of these guys are in a place where they don't understand how to get up because they didn't expect to be here.
Todd, ton of young talent. I've always said, where's that offensive leader, that veteran leader when they're in a losing streak to say, okay, enough, right? The Browns don't have that right now. We'll see how that plays out. All right, meanwhile, let's go to the college game. Jalen Hurts will see his first big test in an Oklahoma uniform on Saturday against Texas. Hurts leads the nation in total QBR. How about that? But he has yet to play an FPI top 50 opponent. As far as his pro prospects are concerned, well, Mel Kiper Jr. has 4 quarterbacks in his latest big board, which goes 25 deep. None of them are named Jalen Hurts. He has 2 as 2nd overall, Justin Herbert 6th, while former Georgia teammates Jake Fromm, Jacob Eason sitting at 24th and 25th, respectively. And with that, it's great to have this guy with us, Paul Feinbaum. So Jalen Hurts, he's improved enough here now. Well, some are considering and discussing first-round pick, when you see that jump here in the conversation where a year ago he's the backup and people talk about more of a runner, not so much a guy that could pass the ball. What do you make of this?
I think there are still some issues with his delivery, but he made a great decision going out and getting in Lincoln Riley's house. We know the record there. So I can't say he's in the first round right now. I think I would get carried out of here in a straitjacket. But ultimately, I think he could be, Kevin. Maybe late, maybe early second. But where he can make his mark is if he has a big finish, makes a run at the Heisman, maybe the national championship, and then looks good in the combines. I think he can go up.
And you know what? That's a credit to Lincoln Riley
It is.
and that offensive system, right? Because a year ago, no one's thinking about Kyler Murray in the first round at this time. Of course, it helps that you have a head coach who appreciates you and loves you when he becomes the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
There's a difference playing for Lincoln Riley versus Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah.
And I think we're seeing that every day.
That is a topic for another time here. Now, let's get ready because one thing that Jalen Hurts has, and no one will have on their resume, a guy that's played in the Iron Bowl and the Red River Showdown here. When you look at Oklahoma taking on Texas, how do you view Texas's defense against Jalen Hurts and this offense?
Well, they won a shootout last year, but that was a long time ago. I don't think the Texas defense is going to be able to stop him, especially in the secondary. They were exposed badly against that man right there, Joe Burrow. I mean, Joe Burrow just riddled them, and this was a guy we weren't sure was an elite quarterback. We know he is now. So I'm not giving Texas really any chance in this game.
No chance at all.
Any no.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 10.5 point spread. I think Oklahoma's going to roll over them.
The big storyline is Sam Ehlinger, and when you look at the Heisman race and these two quarterbacks, Jalen Hurts is second currently. Sam Ehlinger is seventh. One thing I haven't mentioned is Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence, what do you make of Trevor? Exactly. What do you make of Trevor Lawrence and his start here with Clemson?
It's shocking because he was the prohibitive favorite going in. I mean, he was the maybe greatest quarterback we've ever seen. And right now, he is nowhere near the Heisman race. And, you know, he said the other day that he struggled against North Carolina. He missed some throws. He was a little bit unclear about their defense. Those sound like excuses to me. I think he's struggling just to get everything off his back, the weight of the world. And I think it would take a near miracle to get him among the Heisman finalists right now.
He's not going to have a Heisman moment when you look at the competition the rest of the way.
He's not playing anyone that we will be watching.
Yeah, well, we'll be watching because it's on ABC at Florida State
I'm
this coming
sorry.
weekend, right?
I forgot that.
The halftime show here is really good, by the way. We'll talk a little bit about Clemson and their struggles later on this week. Meanwhile, what do you get when you cross Aaron Rodgers in a primetime medical drama? A Ryan Clark tweet, of course, it makes sense, and he's going to explain. This is Get Up.